Dead by Daylight recently got its biggest chapter to date, which is Resident Evil. It's almost been 2 weeks of release now, but has the game even improved, or is the game just getting worse? And I want to talk about it. Alright, so let's talk about the chapter we got here in general. I feel like the killer and survivors are pretty good. I have no complaints. I feel like the perks are fine. It's not really what I look into when I want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about how the game feels at the moment. And I definitely don't feel like this chapter did anything crazy. If anything, I feel like it's kind of following the trope of the last 3 chapters we had, where it's a lot buggy. They can't even get their map out. It's been 2 weeks now, and we still haven't got the RPD map on live servers. Oh well. When the DLC came out, it was there for an hour, so if you're lucky to play it there, well, you just got lucky and played it, I guess. But right now, they have added it into the private matches. I don't really feel that justifies releasing a chapter which is still not finished. If the game, or if the chapter you're releasing is not working completely as it should, when you're selling it to your consumers, it's just not okay. You cannot, in my books, or I don't think in anyone's opinion, you can't sell something to a consumer without it being perfect. Especially when we're talking about Dead by Daylight. I know the trope in Dead by Daylight is that it is a very buggy game. A lot of people complain about the game for being very buggy, and it has a lot of game-breaking bugs sometimes. But behavior, to some extent, are fast to figure out how to patch out the game-breaking bugs. But then again, I don't feel like they care enough about the main game that we're playing. They only care about pushing out more and more content, but they're kind of leaving their game a little bit behind. I don't want to say in terms of balance, because I feel like in a 1v1 situation, killer versus one survivor, the game is pretty balanced. If there's anything we should talk about in the game, it's probably map design, which I've always complained about. Map design's always been really bad in Dead by Daylight, and that's where the most imbalances come from when you're playing this game. But it's not about me talking about maps. Let's talk about still the chapter. So the new map is still not in the game, and a lot of people that maybe are Resident Evil fans are kind of coming to this game with all that I said before, that the game is very unpolished, and they kind of only focus on pushing out more content instead of actually trying to maintain a stable game with performance. And also we can talk about balance issues. I don't really think that's that many. It's more again, map issues. But you're bringing in new players for that big license as Resident Evil, and you're bringing a lot of Resident Evil fans to this game. But yeah, I just feel like you're failing that community that you want to bring in, because this chapter is just not it's just not polished enough, and the game is just not at the right place. If I was a new player coming into Dead by Daylight, but I was a Resident Evil fan, so you came on with this new chapter, I would probably not play the game. And there's multiple reasons for that, and I would even go back and saying probably the last 3 chapters we had is a big reason for why I'm pretty sure a lot of newcomers is just not gonna enjoy this game at the moment, because I don't feel like behavior don't really care about maintaining a stable game. They just care about pushing out either chapters or cosmetics, and right now they're very focused on doing those kind of rework stuff, which I feel is kind of pointless. It's not really maintaining a stable game. It's more like adding stuff on a pile of shit. Basically, if you had a pile of shit right here, then you're kind of just putting stuff on top of it to kind of make the shit less ugly, basically, if you get my if you get what I'm saying. So what behavior is basically doing in my books, they're just polishing a turd to make it look better, but when the main issue is still bad. I will talk about the main issue in the game is that even for newcomers right now, if you want to get into Dead by Daylight, the grind is immense. There are so many killer perks in the game, it is crazy. And there are so many survivor perks, and you have to get all of those perks on each individual character in the game. Not only just saying that, I feel like the ranking system in this game is pointless, but I would say maybe ranking is justified for new players to kind of get up to red ranks. But even when you get to red ranks, like there is so multiple variant of player base, like how they perform in a game. There's so many different play styles let's say at red ranks, or at least rank 1, because it's not hard to get to rank 1 if you play the game enough. But for new players, it's always going to be hard. But also for new players to learn this game as in the state that we have right now, I can understand why people do not want to play this game. For me, I love Dead by Daylight to some extent. I feel like this is a great game. I feel like it still has a lot of potential, even though it's 5 years old. But it definitely have main issues that it needs to get fixed. And I'll go back to the last 3 chapters we have. First up is the Binding of Kin, where we got the twins, which is probably the most bug-filled chapter we've ever got in Dead by Daylight. I can't express how many times when I played the twins that I got basically stuck either playing as Victor, where I couldn't change back to Charlotte, or I got stuck as Charlotte and couldn't play Victor at all because it just bugged out. And the amount of visual bugs that was there, the amount of gameplay that suffered for it, and the game just not being in a good place even back then. And it takes Behavior a long time to fix their game. And there's still a lot of bugs in the game right now, but they kind of, as I said before, you have a turd right here. They kind of put stuff on it, on that turd, to make it look better, but the main issue is still not addressed in the game. And then let's talk about the all kill chapter. Another perfect example of the killer. The chapter in itself actually was pretty bug free, I would say. Still the usual Dead by Daylight bugs you always find in this game, but the killer itself was bug free. The only issue was with that chapter is that Behavior did listen to their community. But when we gave our response back about the killer, or just that PTB in general, I think the majority of people that play the public test build could feel like the trickster was really not that strong of a killer, and he was probably gonna be the weakest killer in Dead by Daylight if he got released into live servers. The time passed from the PTB to when the chapter was gonna be released, and yet they seem to not listen to their community and just released them as it was like the public test build. I think they did minor tweaks. I can't remember the tweaks exactly, but the killer itself was pretty unfun to play because he was just not good. And then I think it was maybe a month later when they do their hotfix every time for the mid-chapter patch, they buffed him a little bit. He's still not great, don't get me wrong, but he's definitely not the weakest killer in the game anymore, in my opinion. I feel like he can be somewhat oppressive on certain maps, but it's not all maps there that the trickster can shine. I personally do not like the trickster at all. His power is fun, but the killer itself is just not really good. And when you're playing against like really good teams, it's not even have like, I know a lot of people talk about tournament teams. I don't want to necessarily talk about a tournament team, but when you're just playing against a good team that know what they're doing, like the trickster, he can't really do much. And then we're coming to the new chapter, basically, where I feel like the killer, good, fun to play. The survivors perks, okay, they're fun perks. Killer perks, okay, not the best, but not the worst. But then again, now we have this issue where Behavior has this turd again, and they're just putting stuff on top of it to make it look better. But we still have the main issue with the game. And now even console players are suffering from this issue. They can't seem to make their game stable enough for console. But then again, also just I feel like there's just so many bugs in the game. I like the Killer Blight, for example, and I feel like they keep changing his hitbox. Like when you have to slam into stuff, like his hitboxes always get changed. I feel like the last time it got changed was with the all kill, and maybe they did some readjustments in the mid-chapter patch for all kill. I can't really remember, but I feel like more and more like they keep changing, but they don't really. I feel like they don't ask their community. They don't listen to their community. I feel like Behavior thinks they know what is best for their community, which I also want to talk about something else, because like Behavior think they know what's best for the game, but then they have a Fog Whisperer program, which I feel like I'm not a Fog Whisperer myself. I'm probably a very small like Twitch streamer and YouTube content creator, and I'm not even though in my streams I do put in the hashtag into the fog to try to become a Fog Whisperer. But I feel like the only incentive to becoming a Fog Whisperer is to get that Fog Whisperer charm in the game, because I don't feel like the Fog Whisperer program even gives you anything that at least maybe getting more information about certain stuff that Behavior could do, or something like talking to them about the game and quality of life changes, because I don't feel like they were even listening to them. And I don't feel like that happening anyway, because they don't even listen to their main community that is actually playing their game. So they just kind of have a blog whisper program with people that perform well with having a lot of viewers, so the game gets put out to more people. But the people that streams and are fog whisperers can also see the issues in the game and are saying it, but behavior does not seem to care. I feel like the only thing behavior care about is money, which I feel like is the most annoying thing about this company, that they keep pushing chapters. We just talked about All Kill, the Binding of Kin, and the Resident Evil chapter. All these chapters, I feel like the quality of what we pay for in these chapters has been so low. This is not free chapters we're given. We pay with it with our own real money to get something new in the game that we enjoy to play. Despite all the bugs that's in the game, I know there's a lot of bugs in this game, but we still buy these chapters because we want to play the new things that behavior comes with. And yet I just feel like behavior don't care about the chapters they keep releasing, because every time we get a new chapter, there's always something wrong with either the new characters that get implemented, especially with the Binding of Kin. I think that's probably the worst like ever released to Dead by Daylight, because it was really bad playing the twins when they got released, because it was really buggy. And it's not like they fixed it, like it took like 2-3 weeks or even more to fix the twins before they were even somewhat, you can still play them, but there was a high chance of you getting stuck and not having a enjoyable time playing the twins. And I feel like the trope just keeps continuing. I feel like they don't care about the quality of the game. They just care about like filling their own pockets up with money and then just saying, all right, we get more money in the next chapter again. And I know Scott Jun, he said something about that behavior don't care because they don't have competition, because Dead by Daylight is basically the only asymmetrical horror game that is successful, and all the other people that try to make an ASA game, or at least in this genre, have failed miserably, which I know because I played a lot of them. We have last year, we have Friday the 13th, we have Hide or Die, we even have Home Sweet Home came out recently, and that game is even dying, or if not, already dead. So I know behavior has this gold mine here and they want to pump as much money out of it, but I know that Scotty said something about that they do not care, just as long as they get their pockets filled. They don't care about the community. I don't necessarily think that's true. It might seem like that, but think about it like this: if behavior didn't care that much about their community, I think the game would be worse. I don't think like they're doing a pretty good job as it is right now. I feel like they could definitely do better. I think like they should use more time to create their chapters and probably make the game quality better before keep pumping out content, because before they almost just fix the game like at the end of the chapter. Like, it's not because it's completely fixed, but it's at a state where it's okay, that it's definitely playable, but there's still bugs here and there. But then there comes a new chapter, and I just feel like from now on in, I just know that at the start of a new chapter, it's just gonna be so bad, it's gonna be so buggy, and it's not gonna be fun to play the game. And I really want to emphasize fun playing in this game, because this game needs to be fun, because it's definitely not a competitive game if you ask me. This is definitely a game for the casuals, because the game is not even close in my opinion, or it's kind of missing a few pieces to be a competitive game. It's not far off, but as the game is right now, it's not even close to being a competitive game, especially also with all the bugs we have in the game. But also just I will say map balance is definitely where the biggest issue is in this game, but that's not what I'm going to talk about that much. But the bugs in the game is a big problem. And also, if you want to bring in new players, which I know behavior is, because they're kind of balanced in the game, I feel like at least around rank 15-ish, with the kind of the current like patches they're putting out, I still feel like they're balancing their game at rank 15. So they're kind of incentivizing new players to come in and play. But I don't know how much of an enjoyable time they're gonna get when they kind of try to play the game, find a character they like, and want to level them up, and they might also do prestige, and then you also need to go all perks. But then again, you also have to level up all the other characters to get all their teachables, and then you also have killers who level them up, get them prestige, and then get all their perks, and then fucking get all their teachables. And then for new players, this grind is in Dead by Daylight. It must be such a pain. I have almost 2k hours in this game, and I remember when I started, it was back in 2017. There wasn't that many perks in the game, or for that matter, even that many characters. And I feel like back then, that was a grind. Think about it now. Think about a new player coming to this game and has to grind so many hours to even just get one character they like, getting them maybe to P3, and then getting all perks of them. But to get all perks, you also need to level up all the other characters if you want the whole set. It takes a long time to get anywhere in Dead by Daylight, and I know some people like the grind in the game. I want a game where I can enjoy the gameplay. I don't really care about the grind mechanic in the game. That is kind of not my thing. I like to play the game. I like playing Dead by Daylight. I don't like grinding in Dead by Daylight. I feel like where this game shines is definitely chases. Chases is definitely the most fun in Dead by Daylight. That's different from person to person, but from my personal experience, I love chases in Dead by Daylight. And I feel like that's where I get the kick out of the game, and that's where I enjoy the game. But then I have to go back to the menu, and I also want... There's still a lot of characters in the game I haven't even leveled up yet, like get all the perks on them. I'm missing a lot, and I almost got 2k hours. I just recently P3 Nemesis, but then all the other kills I don't even prestige them. Because what is the point prestiging in the game? You only get a bloody cosmetic. And the only reason why I did it on Nemesis is because he's probably not going to get any skins to the game. And if he does, it will be a miracle. But I feel like it is behavior, so they're probably going to figure something out anyways. But even the other characters, I haven't even prestige. But prestiging is always, in my opinion, has been very pointless since they added the store to the game, because you can get cosmetics there. But that's where we get into putting more money into behavior's pockets, because as of late, they are very good at putting out more cosmetics into the game, and they cost a ridiculous amount of money if we think about it. And recently, or with this chapter at least, we got this skin, for example, right? And they made this into a legendary skin. But if you notice, the Jill head is the same Jill head that is on the normal skin, and that goes for Leon as well. And I know they have addressed this because I'm a little bit late to this, but they're basically charging you a full price for a normal full set cosmetic, like as we go on this David, where you get 3 new pieces. But when you go over to this, it's a legendary skin now, so you can't change it. But they made basically a 2-piece cosmetic, this bottom half and the body half, but you're only paying for basically 2/3 of a cosmetic that you normally would. And I want to talk about something that I found out recently, and also seeing it from other content creators, that is a hashtag Dead by Boycott. And I really think as a community of Dead by Daylight, we should actually embrace this. At least I feel like what they say in this forum post, which I can kind of skim it up for you, is basically that they want to do this boycott for buying anything in their game for at least 3 months. I would say I would do it from now on, and at least to the next chapter, and don't give them any money for the next chapter. But the next chapter is probably gonna be original chapter anyway, so you could buy that like with iridescent shards, with playtime basically, because they do that with their own chapters. You can buy them with iridescent shards, so it's just playtime. But I think it costs 9k per character, but that's a possibility. So I would definitely incentivize people to follow up on this boycott, and every time you post anything about Dead by Daylight, I would use that hashtag as well, hashtag Dead by Boycott, because I feel like it's very important now that we stick together as a community and make this game go in the right direction, and push behavior and make them do a better job and make a better game for us, because I feel like the gameplay is not being prioritized here. I feel like what they're prioritizing is just making more money, and obviously it's working for them, or else they would probably do something else. But I feel like when behavior is gonna see the backlash that they're getting, they're probably gonna give us some rewards like blood points. I would say do not care about what anything they give you. Think about still, we want to make, or I don't want to say we want to hurt behavior, but we want them to let them know that us as a community, we decide if this game is going to be successful or not. It's not behavior that decides that. It is basically us as a community, because we play their game and we want this game to succeed, but we don't want it to go in the direction it's going right now. So I definitely feel like we should embrace this boycott. I will leave a link down below to the Reddit post. I think it's a really good post, and if you want to read the full post, definitely go check it out. If we don't do this, then probably nothing's gonna happen. But if we do this and something will happen and they are gonna do something about it, then we can look back at it and say this was get like a great achievement for the community of Dead by Daylight. But we have seen before behavior saying a lot of stuff, but it's never going anywhere. So I feel like this might be the same, but I at least want to try this and spread the word about it to see if we can make a better game and at least get somewhere with this, so we can get a better Dead by Daylight, because I want this game to succeed. And I'm pretty sure if any other game and any other asymmetrical game comes out and just does a little bit better by being more transparent to the community, actually making a good game where there's minimal bugs and the gameplay is fun to play, where there's a good balance. It's hard to balance asymmetrical games, I know, but where there's at least a good balance and they keep making content for the game, and overall people are agreeing with the devs and the devs are agreeing with the community, and they're kind of are together as a whole, I feel like Dead by Daylight might tip off and kind of lose a lot of players. I don't think this game is gonna die, but if you see like behavior is gonna get hurt by it by a lot, and I want this game to succeed, but then again I also want another competitor to behavior so they actually can make a better game, because the gameplay in Dead by Daylight is just not good enough. And hopefully this will push behavior, or at least make them aware that the community decides if their game is gonna be successful or not, because we as the players make them do something and have made the game to where it is because we wanted to play their game and we supported them. But now the support also has to come to gameplay, and not only pumping out money from this game just because they can, and they don't really care about maybe optimizing the game and making the gameplay better. So that was it for me. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. See you later, guys, and peace out.